Well, it's the morning after Election Day. We're here on the fourth floor newsroom of the Times-Dispatch. I'm Chris Coates, the executive editor, joined by our political columnist, Jeff Schapiro.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It was a long night for us, but an exciting night. We have a lot of key races to go through, but what's the big headline this morning?
This is day one of the end of the Youngkin administration, it would seem. This is a repudiation that the governor, he had dropped some hints that he may have known this was coming, but he's not one who really needs to be weakened 2 years out. Looking at Democratic majorities in the House and Senate, narrow Democratic majorities in the House and Senate.
The governor, of course, was working to get full GOP control for the first time in about a decade. Where does he go from here with his agenda?
A good question. You know, the history books show that there are Virginia governors who have had lousy midterms who've gone on to have very productive second halves. Will, Youngkin follow suit? It may come down to issue by issue. However, here's the challenge. Those other governors, Democrats and Republicans, could look at a legislature that had goodly numbers of moderate Republicans and conservative Democrats. So the opportunities to kind of create the coalitions, whether it was, in George Allen's case, overhauling the juvenile justice system, actually getting through parental notification on abortion, or John Dalton going back to 1980, getting a fuel tax increase, or Mark Warner getting a sales tax increase through a Republican legislature and then finding himself propelled into national orbit. Those margins aren't going to exist in this closely divided and sharply partisan legislature.
And now you mentioned abortion, of course, a key issue this cycle. Where does that go now with the governor and also with the legislature? Is there a constitutional move here?
Well, there will clearly be a push to establish a constitutional guarantee for an abortion. We've seen red states in referenda support these sorts of things. So clearly the Democrats will be pushing for that, and they'll be pushing it with much more unified majorities, again, albeit narrow majorities. There are a couple of, if you will, anti-abortion light Democrats who are no longer in the legislature, and for that to actually go on the ballot doesn't require a governor's signature. So we'll see, but it'll take time for that to happen, a couple of years.
Lots of national attention last night on Virginia, as well as races, issues in Ohio and Mississippi and other states. The question comes up now: what does Youngkin do moving into 2024? Does he? There was a lot of speculation about him becoming a late entry. What do you make of all that?
He has been a presidential prospect since he surprised everyone winning the governorship in 2021, and his this striptease, if you will, has continued and was continuing through this legislative election cycle. One would think that the Youngkin brand is now pretty badly dinged, but of course, as well, the Republican field really seems to have firmed up. I mean, Donald Trump's control of the Republican primary seems, at this point, rather absolute. Were this a more closely divided field, there might have been some opportunities for someone like Youngkin. Now, maybe the best thing for him to do is concentrate on his day job.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I want to ask about the casino referendum, which was the big, one of the big marquee items last night. What does that mean for LeVar Stoney's political future, and just in general? Where does he go from here as well?
Well, LeVar Stoney's been looking for a big shiny object since he was first elected mayor almost 8 years ago. This is now at least the third significant repudiation of Stoney, now twice on a casino, and then of course it was a big downtown redevelopment program that didn't go anywhere. I think this will be viewed as something of a measure of his popularity or lack thereof in the city, and that may very well emerge as an obstacle as he takes his next step, which is this likely campaign for governor.
Very good. Well, our coverage continues at richmond.com. Jeff, thanks for joining us, and thank you for checking in on us.